now we can talk about let's talk about, we're going to step out of the Batman box for a second.
Because we do that sometimes.
Because we do it from time to time. And as you can tell from the background behind me, I'm actually a huge X-Men fan. Growing up, I got to say X-Men and Batman were my two favorite influences, superhero influences growing up. Mainly because X-Men the animated series and Batman. Anyway, so we want to talk about X-Men Apocalypse. Who would like to go first with their spiel?
Let's lead with a positive. I loved it. I was geeking out the whole time. I thought when Dark Phoenix showed up, she was awesome. I enjoyed. I was loving the fact that Poe Dameron, Oscar Isaac was unrecognizable as Apocalypse. We saw his body in the beginning, but his performance was great, and I enjoyed it. And you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm coming from a huge X-Men fan, and like. I like all the characters, and when I watch these movies, like I guess I'm a little more open-minded when it comes to these movies, and I wasn't expecting, I was just like after Batman v Superman, and after the horror of Spider-Man 3, like
horror.
I can't get built up for these movies anymore for the most part, so I kind of went in just like
watching that movie was like
I love the X-Men, so I kind of went in kind of hesitant because it's gotten mixed reviews. Yeah, it's got mixed reviews, and it got better reviews than Batman v Superman, but like
we won't mention that once.
But when I go into these movies, I really like to see what the director does with these characters, especially some of the individual characters. And they have X-Men has such a huge cast. It has a deep bench. And it's really interesting to see how all these characters together. I'm fascinated by how they interact and how if the directors get the interactions right. And I felt within this movie that a lot of the smaller scenes there wasn't a lot of action going on, they're just talking to each other, were some of the better scenes in the movie. But I'm going to say that a Quicksilver scene was awesome.
That was awesome. My kid can't stop talking about that. I thought
what did you think of? It was one of the best parts of the movie. What did you think of Sophie Turner as Sansa?
I did not recognize her as Sansa, which is my compliment to her acting abilities.
Accent was decent.
She was perfect. She was not Sansa. She was Jean Grey.
Right.
And I appreciated that. She's a great actress. The Wolverine moment was.
Oh, the Weapon X movie was one of the best.
That was,
it was so
worth
good.
the price of admission.
How many people did he kill in that lab?
They were strikers, man. Who cares?
Oh, I don't care, but I'm just saying. I mean, this is this is not a Man of Steel moment where I'm like, oh, dude, somebody's got to look up for those kids. No.
It was dark. It was dark.
No,
it was dark in there.
And when I was watching in that box, you heard the animal, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to do it. Of course they're going to do it. Yeah. And he looked just like a toy, just like the classic Weapon X one, like the toy I had back there.
Because that was the thing. They threw a moment at us in the first film.
Right.
Look at his claws. They threw, of course, the Weapon X or X-Men Origins.
Well, I think this movie's trying to like not the revamp.
What that scene did for Wolverine in general, for all of us hardcore Wolverine fans,
shink,
take all of the crap that had generated itself to the character and like shake it off.
Right.
And now it's back. Now it's back to the one we remember, which is what he did. What Eric Singer has done for a lot of
Brian Singer
has done for a lot of the characters. Eric Singer, Beastmaster.
Beastmaster.
A lot of the characters in the action universe, and that's what I liked about it. I like that Wolverine scene, and there was the Dark Phoenix scene. Yes, that again. That film was pretty much they were the comics I was reading.
So how did you feel they handled Apocalypse as the main villain? Like, what do you think? How do you think they did that?
I thought he was great.
I thought he was decent.
There were some problems. They didn't do enough with the Four Horsemen.
Right.
Psylocke didn't seem to have a purpose.
Psylocke. I was talking to Darren about this. Psylocke did. Olivia Mann who played Psylocke who did nothing in this film.
Yeah.
The only thing she
Psylocke knife was badass.
The only thing she did in the whole movie you saw in the trailer when she cut the car in half. That was the only thing she did in the whole movie. Besides that, she stood there and looked hot. Like that's all she did. She was completely useless. And coming in like here's the thing, like Jean Grey and Psylocke have always been, and Rogue have always been my three favorite X-Men female characters. Yeah. Like I've always felt they're very strong characters. Like I like Kitty Pryde too. She's another one of my favorites. But growing up, like it was
also did nothing.
I was a big fan. Growing up, I was a big fan of the Angel and Psylocke relationship growing up in the Jim Lee in the 90s era. So like I'm a huge fan of Psylocke from way back, and like I just really felt she was underdeveloped. Mm-hmm. And again, like how do you tie that many characters into a movie, especially when Psylocke's the only experience she ever had, they wiped out of because X-Men 3 doesn't matter.
And this leads us to Darren. What did you think? See?
Here's the thing. I enjoyed myself. I thought it was fun. I think the characters.
He enjoyed himself.
I enjoyed myself. The characters right. They looked cool. Psylocke, who's my favorite female X-Men character.
Yep, she's awesome.
There you have it.
She's awesome.
There you have it. Yeah.
Jubilee did more than
That,
Psylocke.
you know,
Jubilee did a
if I
lot
was
more than
there, if I was in
Psylocke.
the same place
That's
I would
sad.
ruin it for. Jean Grey is my favorite, and she was kind of the focal point. So that's
She was
kind of why
great.
that didn't bug me, but that would have bugged
I
me.
love
Yes.
the actors. The Wolverine scene was fucking badass. He looked like Weapon X.
Right.
Feral, badass. It just was like, I was watching it with Dan, and he made the comment. Hold on. He made the comment saying like,
I got it.
he said it was a little too dark. It was like everyone's so powerful. I mean, we got all these powers. We got Apocalypse so powerful. It was
Magneto's
so
powerful.
And it was so powerful. Like, okay, Apocalypse is the most powerful. Why does he need all these fucking people? He can just do it himself.
Right.
He's got the Horsemen. I guess part of the comics, great.
Right,
But
right.
I was
It's
like-
also part of the Bible.
That's true.
Hey, maybe Apocalypse did it first.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't think so. I think Jesus did it.
Dude, but I was watching. I was like, all right, it just. I mean, I wouldn't put it above X-Men 1 or 2. I think those are still the best.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was better than Days of Future Past. I enjoyed it more than First Class because that First Class was boring.
So did I. I only saw First Class
The cast was
once.
great. The cast was amazing.
It was like a history lesson.
X-Men 3 was X-Men 3 was
Right.
shit. And so, but I was just like, all right.
And these movies have kind of become history lessons. They sprinkle some real greatness about everything.
They really do peg the eras pretty well.
Yeah,
I think.
and that's kind of been the
down to
focal
the
point.
costuming, the
costuming,
details, and the cars,
and the messing with the events of history, you know, that kind of stuff, and where they.
I thought the Quicksilver scene was badass. I thought that was better than the one.
I thought they outdid themselves with that. And you know, I was actually excited. As soon as the car stopped, I was like, "Oh, hold on a minute."
Because they had to up it because they did the thing with Jim Croce in Days of Future
Right.
Past.
I didn't like how Angel was only half of him was Archangel.
Yeah.
Them all blue
And he
shit.
never even called him Archangel.
Yeah, they didn't really. No, you know what? Honestly, like I thought, I could see
It's
that
in
from
the
a-
actor's
from a-
contract?
From a visual, no, I think from a visual standpoint, like, do you need 2 blue characters or 3 blue characters?
Everyone was blue in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, how many more blue characters do you
Psylocke.
need? It's like I'm
Nightcrawler.
actually glad. I'm honestly.
Hey, Blue Skin is in Guardians of the Galaxy. Gamora.
And honestly, to be fair, like there's been like Archangel's been so many different versions of the comic books. There has been a white-skinned, metal winged
I know. I just want to see that
Archangel.
one. I want to see the blue.
Hey, that's the one I want to see.
Yeah,
too,
he
but
would've
I-
looked like Nebula
again,
from,
but then like 6 out of the 11 characters that were in that movie were gonna be blue.
Yeah, there's a lot of blue here.
And that joke would when that joke had played as well as it did, and he said, "Oh, what did you paint this after?" I did after." And when Beast stops, and he's talking to me. It could have been like 6 people.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
about
exactly.
Nightcrawler. Does he have a thing for Nightcrawler? Like I don't know, man.
Yeah, Nightcrawler's blue too.
I'm just saying that
He's
joke.
right,
would
he's
not
right.
have- That joke would have not landed as well with that many blue characters.
guys
Like,
seen when Angel
did you meet Angel? Like,
Remember when Angel was in the cage? You
The
see
fight-
that mutant he was taking out? You guys notice it that way?
oh, that was Blob.
Yeah.
was
I
noticed that
How
actually
could you
just-
miss him? He's like 900
I actually
pounds.
noticed that. I noticed that the second time I saw it. I didn't notice it the first time I
It
saw
was
it.
a
Because
costume.
I've seen it
I
twice.
saw the black with the yellow.
Yeah. Well, the size gave him away a little bit too.
And I love the fact when they're walking out of it was kind of like in Civil War when like, hey, remember Empire? Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And they're like, in X-Men, they're like, hey, Return of the Jedi. Blah blah blah. blah.
They did that same. Yeah, they
And
did
they're
that
like,
same
oh,
gag.
the third one's always, it was Sansa. The
Yeah.
third one's always the worst.
Yeah, don't think
But
those
there's a-
guys aren't talking to each other.
Right.
There's a deleted scene where Cyclops and Jean are in a record store and they're holding a CD. It says Dazzler. So for those of you,
Is there really?
Yes. I missed that.
no,
it was cut out.
It was
It was a
my
deleted
God.
scene.
Was there an Easter egg? Did you stick around for an Easter egg? Was there an Easter egg?
A what?
The Easter egg.
Yes, there was.
What was
yes,
it?
there was. It was Essex, which is Mr. Sinister.
Ah, okay.
Mr. Sinister.
That's just sinister.
But,
I thought the Easter egg could have been a little more. It was kind of like could have been a little more poppy.
I thought that right.
It's nice to have balance on the panel.
Honestly, I enjoyed it for the most part, and I'm not saying it was a perfect movie, and I'm not gonna sit here and try to defend the bad part. Because there was some bad parts about it. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
no, it's not
you
perfect.
like
It's
Batman.
not
You thought Batman v Superman was a perfect movie the first time you saw it.
I
Like,
was
you know.
cognitive dissonance.
what I'm saying.
Cognitive
That's what I'm
dissonance.
saying.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying,
It's actually a term.
And
but-
here's the truth about it. Like I watched it the first time, I enjoyed it, but when I was approached to see it the second time, I was like,
There's a lot of it around these days.
I was worried about being blown out about it, but I actually saw it again and I enjoyed it again because there's certain things that they do really well, and there's certain things they do like as to or meh. You know what I'm saying?
For me, the nostalgia of it really outweighed the meh moments. I was in the same camp about Psylocke. I didn't like the fact that he wouldn't call him Archangel, and I really wanted him to look the way he looked in the comics. To me, there's like this. there's this kind of unwritten standard in Hollywood now that says that you can never go all the way there. They will never go all the way there. They will only go where they think they have to in order to either do this, that, or the other thing. And the money always wins.
Right.
And so
I thought Jubilee was going to at least do something. I mean,
yeah, but you see, the thing I would say, if you ask the producers a question, that their response would be, "We may yet do something with her."
And
Right.
She pretty much is just like she's Dazzler light.
Yeah, the actors have contracts, you know.
And
Right.
I think she's obviously she's.
I always liked
she's
Dazzler
amazing.
better. I
She's
always thought
talented.
Dazzler was a better
I
character.
do too.
I thought she was
talented,
Olivia Newton-John in a comic book.
Right?
She did
She's
it.
talented. She's a newcomer. This is like one of her first roles. She's awesome. She looks the part, but I'm like, give her something to do. And then she's pretty much Dazzler light because Jubilee's legacy, her whole legacy through comics, through animation.
Right.
They try to make her really badass.
And
She's not. She's like a pixie. And
her fireworks, mutant powers are terrible,
They can
dude.
hurt you. They can tickle. They're really powerful.
Right.
Not powerful. Her whole legacy right now is just a legacy of bad mutant fashion choices.
Right. Well, you know, I want to talk a little bit about. Let's talk about some of the good stuff they did. Like I felt like I thought I'd actually be bored by the Magneto sub-story of having a family, but I thought that was actually one of the more interesting parts.
I was kind of horrified by it, you know, because you
but
knew what was going to happen. You
knew that was inevitably going to happen, but I thought it was interesting about how he actually tried to have a family and live normally.
Yeah.
Which is like really like you don't see that very often. Like he's for these villains, you know, and like Magneto's always, especially in the comic books and even in the comic books, the cartoons, he's always not. You can't really classify him as a villain. He's always just him and Professor X always had kind of two different idealistic.
Yeah, well, Magneto's problem, and it is kind of inherent in that scene, in that story, is that he doesn't necessarily do very well at forming ulterior relationships. He can have a relationship with a woman and have a child and that kind of stuff and have that family.
Short term.
But the people, he wasn't friends with any of the guys he worked with around the plant because he's a mutant and he has to keep himself secret.
Right.
And he had that moment where he said to all of them, "You guys basically narked me off."
Right.
And the thing is that my takeaway from that is if he had some kind of relationship with any of these guys and was able to not be so secretive, they might not have knocked him off because they knew he had a family, knew he had a life, knew he was a good guy, and he really wasn't this bad mutant person,
that was the whole thing too.
You know, and if Eric was better at relationships, maybe he would not have that happen to him.
But again, it's a strong point that the second he got recognized was that because he has that whole thing that happened 10 years prior and that happened in Days of Future Past. You know, what kind of records from that?
I'm confused with that because I love Magneto. I get what the writers do with him. Like he's a good guy, he's a bad guy, he's on the good side.
Well, read the comics. Honestly,
It's all about his hatred of humanity, but his love for Charles.
It's funny you say that, Darren, because that's how he is in the comic books too. Actually, he's part of the X-Men of the comics now.
Yeah.
Sometimes he is, sometimes he's not. Sometimes he is.
He was in Days of Future Past, and then he was the bad guy at the end and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, he's always been a villain. He bled the adamantium out of Wolverine's
So what
body.
did we think of Cyclops? What do we think of this rendition of Cyclops?
A little less bitch boy.
He shoots lasers out of his eyes.
Okay, a little more deeper than that, Darren, please.
He was a little less. He wasn't a whiner. He wasn't a whiner like.
At first he was because he's like angsty teenager and his powers and just he shoots.
Well,
I would deal with this.
That's kind of how they always like. That's kind of they always kind of paint that.
That was an allegory of puberty, right? You know.
You see, he's coming into the Cyclopsness. Like
there's always some dumbass bully though. You know that whole cliche.
There's always a Flash Thompson in the.
There's always the Flash Thompson that gets thrown into the wall.
Right.
And you know what bothers me the most about that is I always enjoy it.
Yes, so do I. I really like that part too. I thought that was really cool when he first. Although, like, wasn't it a dick move by Jean? You didn't notice when he first walked into the school, ran into him. She's like, "Watch where you're going." The kid's fucking blind. Did you see it?
Yeah.
He couldn't see.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they were both being a little petulant. That's the whole idea.
The whole thing is like, it's like G's son. So you gotta be such a Gee, that's kind of a dick move.
They do have that in common.
What if the kid was blind?
I like how they planted the seed for Jean and Logan's relationship later on.
I thought that was quite clever
because
too.
that made sense. That made a lot of sense.
You think Hugh Jackman, when Bryan Singer called him up and he was like, "Hey man, I need you to do this one scene," he's like, "Come on, man! Like I've done this.
It's where you fall in love with Jean.
I've done this like 18 times. All right, in this scene, you're gonna be Weapon X, and you're just gonna kill a bunch of people, and you're gonna have a soft moment with Jean at the end,
and you're gonna fall in love at the end.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah.
No,
all right, I can get behind this.
Hugh's such a good guy. He's like he would just do it because that's Bryan Singer.
Well, here's the thing. If they're doing Old Man Logan, and then we should probably move on. If they're doing Old Man Logan, then it's planting the seed for him and his relationships going forward in the next universe might be a prudent move, because if they decide to put him with a Jean Grey character in that movie and try and draw some kind of a connection to the films in the universe, that would be a good move. right?
Well, that's just so screwy about the continuity with those movies, is since they want to cancel out it and then the Days of Future Past, which I thought was clever in a way to revamp it.
Yeah.
But like
everybody's rebirthing.
And like now we have like we have
They're all born again.
Like who's in, so at the end of the movie it's like who's the real closing up, like in the end of the movie, like who did we end up with? It was like Cyclops, Jean Grey, Storm. Who were the
Storm,
Nightcrawler, and Beast.
Archangel and Psylocke boned out.
Yeah, I thought Angel got killed, right? Does it look like
his body wasn't crushed. He was just kind of.
I'm hoping he was okay.
Really down for the count.
Archangel, and maybe they'll develop his character a little more instead of just being the
him and Psylocke
into Billy Idol.
And
a Billy Idol fan.
Yeah. We're the rebel, yeah.
Was that what he listened to when he was running around throwing out liquor bottles?
Yeah, he's like,
looks like he was a sex piece. Like he got, he
did look like
he went to audition for the Sex Pistols, but they said no, and he was like just throwing bottles.
X-Men across the hall.
Oh, when he was listening, you mean when he was in his when he was drinking?
Yeah.
Oh, he was listening to Metallica, Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
Is that what he was listening to?
Right.
Good song. Good.
Nice one.
Good ear, Darren. Good ear, Darren.
That's
well, I guess in closing, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Do
I think it was the best? Do I think it was the best one out of all of them? No. Do I think that
we haven't seen the best one yet?
Do I think that actually but thus far, what do you thus far?
If they want to hang on to me, then they culminate the Jean Grey storyline. It will be a battle on the moon between the X-Men and the Imperial fucking Guard.
Yeah. Plus, we got to see how they tie in Deadpool and Cable.
And I want to see Wolverine get thrown into the Watcher's dome.
Right. But like I said,
those are the kinds of things that would really get the.
If I were to rank them, not counting the side movies, it's the main X-Men movies.
Not counting X-Men 3 United.
Not counting.
Whatever
counting X-Men. No, hold on. X-Men. This is me.
All right. Fair enough.
X-Men.
The original one.
Yes. X-Men 1, X-Men 2,
United,
X-Men Days of Future Past,
yes,
Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, First Class, X-Men 3.
You put X-Men 3 on the list?
He has to.
It's at the very bottom. It's not really
It's at the bottom.
There.
Yeah. It exists.
You got Origins on that list?
We still have to acknowledge Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. So.
Fair enough. Yeah, I know.